All right, guys, here we go. So the MVP Open is coming this Thursday, the 28th. You got these practice rounds. The round two is exactly the same layout that the Open's going to be. Obviously, the winds could change a little bit, but I thought it'd be cool for those of you that haven't had a ton of time to mess around in these practice rounds and get used to these discs, to at least have a line to reference for every single hole in the layout. So that's what I'm doing here in this video, starting with Maple Hill Diamond front nine. So let's take a look at the bag, these new MVP discs. Some of them are pretty awesome. So the shift, I think, is getting the most love. The way I see it, it's kind of like an understable sapphire or musket, or maybe even a longer hatchet, very understable. Sweet disc, you can throw kind of some nice turn shots that will just stay straight, that don't want to fade at all. So you're going to have a glide and a skip. Just keep in mind the skip is not accurate. It's glide skip, so it's a little harder to be super accurate with that disc. Then you have a roll and a windbreak rhythm. So the rhythm is pretty similar to the river. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to use it a ton in these layouts, but it will come in handy, and I'm definitely going to use it on a few holes. But when I throw it, I just keep in mind, much like a river. Then you have the watt. You have a sticky and a glide watt. So a lot of people are really excited about this one as a new throw-in putter. Very straight. Doesn't have a lot of lift, so you can really throw it hard at the basket. Me personally, I'm going to stick with the pure, but definitely if you're looking for a throw-in putter, the watt is a great option. The tempo is very intriguing to me. It's much like the harp, but just not as long, and this is much more beefy than the harp, so you can get around trees at close range. I wish I had it in my bag as a utility, but I just don't see myself getting rid of the harp. But it is a very intriguing disc for me. And then same with the parachute, man. If you play disc golf in real life, just think of the glitch. That's exactly what this thing is. That's exactly what it does. Parachute is a perfect name for it. It's great for putting when you need it to just float and stay in the air, or get over something and stay up. I'm not really quite sure how it does on throw-ins, but it's very intriguing, and if I had the space, it's another disc that I would consider having in the bag. But without further ado, let's get into the round. So hole one on the diamond layout, we don't have much options. We're going to go with the skip, shift, and try to just go for this right side, because I don't know if we can carry it straight on. So we're going to try to skip over this bush here, get out there as far as possible since we don't have a distance driver. Worked out well there. Not sure you can do much better than that on that hole. This one, I just went with the shift as well. We're going to try the shift on a forehand, and you should, with this diamond layout, should have a chance at acing it. The danger with the forehand is you could go right OB. All right, so hole three, this is like a perfect hole designed for the shift, basically. Just a straight pull and let that disc turn, and then just go straight towards the basket. You might be able to ace it with the skip here, but it's pretty risky. This is just the glide there. This hole, definitely aceable. This is kind of a cool backhand turn shot with the glide shift. You can see here the potential with this disc. Just bam, right in the chains. Love that. And then hole number 6. This is another one that you could potentially ace with the skip. So this line, a little bit of hyzer just to keep it from turning too much. Unfortunately, I caught those trees. Otherwise, it would have been great. I went by the basket a few times there. Almost made it. Definitely aceable, that one. This one, I'm going to show you the safe line with the rhythm. We'll throw the windbreak rhythm. Definitely going to have to either aim far left or put a little bit of hyzer. This is just a straight pull aiming right at those trees. Very safe birdie shot here with the rhythm. And then if you're feeling a little frisky and want an ace line, this is the skip shift. Just try to turn it over on a forehand. Or no, sorry, this is a backhand, just a bunch of hyzer, but it's hard to get it to skip high enough. Hole 8. This one, I was trying to explore and see if you could get it there with the rhythm, but I'm pretty sure you're going to need the shift to ace this one, maybe on a forehand. Unfortunately, I just didn't get a chance to throw it. So this is the safe shot with the rhythm. You got a big left to right, so I aimed way over there, just kind of straight pull. And that's a nice, safe birdie line. But if you're going to get far enough, you need to throw the shift there for an ace. Then hole 9, this is another perfect shot for the skip shift. If you can just hit the gap just right, it's going to just land nice and soft up top, skip on down, and it's hard to really beat that type of a shot there. 95 feet. We'll finish this one off just for fun. This is the parachute. Take a look at how glidey it is. I mean, if that doesn't look like a glitch, I don't know what does. So hopefully you do better on round 1 than I did. Let's get into round number 2. Back 9 of Maple Hill Diamond. So again, I don't have enough disc here to get there, so I'm just going to try to play the right side. I don't want to get too close to the barriers up there, so we're just going to aim kind of right on the right side and then just let it turn away from it. And then stay straight, and that's going to be perfect position for birdie. Hole 2, or 11. This is kind of a tough one to get carry all the way. With this wind, it definitely helps, but if it's a headwind, this could be a problem because it's really hard to... I would probably go glide instead of skip if it's a headwind, just so I can carry those trees. But if you got a tailwind, that's the perfect line to hit and give yourself a look at eagle. This next hole, this is definitely a great hole for the shift as well. The skip, if you can just land it up top near the gap and let it skip down towards the basket. This is another hole that you could potentially get an eagle on. And hopefully that line helps. Again, that's the skip shift. This next one, I'm not really gonna find an ace line for it, although potentially it could hit the bank and skip up and in. But this is just a powered down glide shift. I didn't really like my other options there. I wanted to at least give it a chance at acing, and the other disc just couldn't do that, the rhythm. So I went with the powered down shift. This one, another one, unfortunately, we just don't have a disc to get the ace, so we're just going to play the wind here. Make sure I don't turn it too much into the water. And this is, again, you're not going to be able to ace this one with these discs, but that's an easy birdie. This is a hole I'm excited about, similar to my Skip Sapphire line. I just don't have to turn it as much. This is a much better disc for this hole than the Skip Sapphire, just because it just turns and then goes straight. I mean, this didn't take me too long to hit this one. As you can see, that's an awesome line there, so definitely I suggest using that one. This one, this is another one that you can get away with throwing a forehand. Most other discs you kind of have to throw a backhand just to keep it high enough over the wall. But you can see that glide shift just easily clears the wall. Luckily I hit some trees there to stop, but that's a great disc for this hole. And then this hole, little cheat code on this one. This is the skip shift. I'm usually throwing turn glide rive, but this shift disc is almost better than that option. And this should be an easy eagle using this backhand line. I really want to keep that one under wraps. So if you're watching this, steal that line because it's awesome. This one is tough, but we're just going to try to throw the skip shift up here, get us in position to hopefully get it up there and get a birdie. So... and then this is perfect time to show off that tempo, what it can do. Just kind of aim over to the right and just let it hyzer around everything. Much like the harp, just even a little more stable. So that was a good example of what that tempo can do. All right, round number 3. So Maple Hill Gold is round 3 and 4. And this is using I believe it's a balanced bag. So you only have 6 discs. So you probably played with this bunch before, but definitely get familiar with those discs. Whether you're throwing with the Pure or the Fuse, not a bad bag. This kind of a tougher wind. This is the Glide Windbreak Rive. But ideally you want to throw something where you hit this fairway. It's not easy to hit, and hopefully it's not a headwind, because if it's a headwind, I would aim way right just to make sure you clear it. But that worked out well in this wind. Hole number 2. I thought about maybe trying to ace it with the Rive, but the best thing is just throw the musket. I like to do just a big flex musket, aim high, maybe about half power of Anheuser, a little more than that, and just turn it over. And sometimes you'll skip off that bank kind of up over the wall. This one doesn't quite get over it, but that's the safer throw there. with this wind here, I'm going to go forehand. Otherwise, I'd be going backhand on this hole. But with this wind, the forehand is an easy shot. Just aim about right there and straight pull. Let that wind push it over, and then it'll start to kind of fight the wind and start fading back, and that'll get you in position for birdie there. Hole 4 should be one you're familiar with. The Fuse is the perfect disc, and this is a great aim point, so I definitely suggest you try this one. Bottom chevron right in between those trees. Just a touch of Anheuser, especially in one winds. And let's see if we can drop this in first try. I use the Sfeya on the same line. Go in. Oh, it does not stay in. Robbed. Almost got it, but that's an awesome line. This is my same line that I throw the Glide Roll Rive, middle chevron just on the top of that tree. And definitely gettable there. Awesome line. I get that one a lot in multiplayer with the Glide Roll Rive. This one I'm going to go with the musket. Just kind of aim kind of high. Just aim about right there and just straight pull and let it slowly kind of fade back towards the basket. Musket's a great disc for this hole. Hole 7. This is kind of the updated 24 gold, so some of you may not be super familiar with this one, but this is I'm going to throw Glide Windbreak, just kind of aim nice and high through that gap on a forehand. And with this wind, I don't even have to put any Anheuser on it, because it's going to hold it to the left. But be mindful, you got to adjust your pull back a little bit if the wind is different. This one here, you can run it with the Rive. I would just aim to the right a little bit and put some hyzer on it. This is a great aim point, but as long as you put enough hyzer on it, then you won't hit that gap and you'll stay inbounds. Unfortunately, I pushed retire there and I didn't get the ace, but I replayed it on my alt, and you can see the practice is paying off because I was able to ace holes 4 and 5 with those lines I showed you. So I thought that was pretty awesome, but I had to go play it real quick on my alt. That's the first time I've ever used my alt account. And just so I can get a shot here on hole 9 for you. So hole 9, this is a fun hole now. I just go default, slide right. This is the Windbreak Rive again. Put a little bit of Anheuser on this forehand shot. You can do a flex backhand, but it's a lot more difficult to execute, and you can still get an eagle with the forehand off the tee, and I'm going to show you right here. So we're going to go forehand and just do a big flex shot with the Rive. As long as you stay left of that big tree there, then usually you're going to get through here and have some sort of look for eagle. I love this new updated hole. Can't wait till it starts hitting multiplayer, because it's definitely going to be a separator hole. Even the Albi's possible on this hole, but lots of people are going to end up getting eagle, but it's not too hard to get in trouble. So there you go. There's the first 3 rounds. Let's get into the last round. The back 9 of Maple Hill Gold, the updated version. This one, again, there's no way I'm going to make it up to the basket, so I'm just throwing it up there on the Anheuser, trying to stay over on this right side a little bit so I have a clean look at the basket. It's going to be kind of a tough throw there, but just make sure you don't get too close. This one I like to slide left, middle chevron on that tree, and then a disc of Anheuser. I've posted videos on these holes recently, other than the last 3 holes, but check them out, how to ace or eagle every hole in the game. I just need the last 3 holes, but that's a perfect drive off that shot. This one, forehand, is definitely the way to go. Slide left, middle chevron in between those trees, right above the green trees. Put a big flex on it, and usually you're going to get a great outcome. Something kind of like this. Gives you even a look at eagle at times. Sometimes you end up rolling all the way down, but that's a great tee shot for that hole. This one here, I think I'm just going to play it safe with a backhand musket. I guess potentially it could probably skip up, probably not in this big headwind, but I like the backhand in this wind and for this hole. Next hole, here's my ace line for this hole. Again, I just posted a video on this one, so I'm going to use that same line. In my bag, I use Glide Roll. In this one, we're going to throw the Windbreak Glide Rive. We're going to slide to the right. We're going to aim way down by that tree just under the water, and it's pretty straight pull. And I'll be honest, this one I was trying to ace. You can see how many times I threw, and I just could not get it to go. So we ended up with a spit out. I was tired of grinding, so. And then this one here, I wish I had a skip disc, but I don't. So we're just going to throw the musket. Aim over here on the left. Put some flex on it. Let it turn over a little bit, and then kind of fade back towards the basket, but stays in that gap nicely with the musket. This one here, this is kind of an ace line. That's a tough one to get. The musket might make it down there, but it's not. I like to just at least have a shot to ace, especially if it's in an event. It was kind of a really low shot, so it naturally turns. And this was right on line, just not quite high enough, but that line should be good for you. This one here, initially I was going to throw backhand, but I think forehand is the play here in this huge wind. You can see the potential for this shot, just a big flex shot through the gap. Plenty of anhyzer, and it's not going to get any better than this. So I'm kind of hoping we get a similar wind, because that would be a great shot to throw on this hole. And then the last hole, probably one of the toughest holes in the game. I think backhand's the play, just because you can get more distance since you don't have a skip driver. You need all the distance you can on this. Ideally, if you can get past that little ditch right there, then you have a shot to go for it. If you go for it, I would suggest you don't go for it on a forehand, and I'm going to show you why. Even if you do this big flex, it's just really hard. I guess I didn't show you. I thought I was going to show you, but there's a wood thing right there, and you can't carry it. So basically, even if it's on a good line, you hit that wood thing and carry out of bounds. So there you go, guys. There's all 4 rounds. A tee shot for every hole. The exact same layout that's going to be for the event. The winds are going to be different, but hopefully this is a great starting point. Maybe you could have this video pulled up on a different device, and it will give you a reference point for every single hole, and hopefully give you a little bit of an advantage to shoot well. Good luck, guys. Hope everyone tears it up, and as always, thanks for watching me play some DGV.